Ambassador Silas stood alone in the Vista Gallery, gazing out at the vast expanse of space unfolding before him. Beyond the orbital station's shielded glass, countless stars glittered against an endless night. Out there, among those distant suns, lay humanity's future. First contact a century ago had thrust mankind into a bold new cosmic destiny. Now humanity stood ready to take its place among the galactic community. Silas straightened his ceremonial robes, burdensome in their weight of responsibility. As a universal symposium approached, Earth's future rested on his shoulders alone. For 100 years, humanity had labored to integrate itself into the complex fabric of interstellar society. Dozens of alien civilizations, previously isolated for eons, now freely shared their knowledge, technology, and cultures. Humanity marveled at the wise plant beings of Alpha Centauri, learned principles of enlightenment from the spiritual Arcturians, and mastered the secrets of light speed travel from the astronomers of Sirius. In turn, mankind's creative spirit fascinated its new allies. The diverse creative arts, philosophies, and innovations of Earth brought new perspectives to races ancient and stagnant. Human determination allowed colonies to sprout on the most hostile worlds in mere decades. And human compassion helped bridge divisions between species separated by millennia of isolation. Humanity became the thread weaving a disparate galactic community into a tapestry. Now, Silas prepared to represent humanity before the Universal Council, hoping to secure mankind's role in negotiating the first unified interstellar charter. He tried to calm his pounding heart and still his swirling doubts. First contact was but an eye blink compared to the lifespans of most Council species. To them, humanity was an upstart child, grasping recklessly for stars beyond its reach. Silas knew that many in the Council already regretted revealing themselves to such an ambitious race. Could he convince them that humanity's spirit was an asset, not a threat? That mankind's indomitable drive to understand and connect made them worthy partners? The coming symposium would decide Earth's fate. Failure to gain the Council's trust now might mean centuries of isolation from the galactic communion. Humanity's future balanced on a precipice. The stars beckoned bright and cold through the transparent steel, their secrets still tantalizingly out of reach. With a heavy sigh, Silas turned and made his way down to the Council chambers. The cavernous rotunda thrummed with activity as delegates from 24 worlds prepared for the historic symposium. Interpreter drones fluttered between cliques of strangers, facilitating communication. Silas was relieved to see Echoes, the philosophic envoy from Sirius, beckon him over to the gathered Arcturian hosts. Though eccentric, Echoes' camaraderie helped ease Silas's worries. But any sense of optimism evaporated when Clax, Silas's insectoid attaché, urgently scrambled into the room. Ambassador Silas, priority alert from Sol system ships. A Class 6 solar flare has erupted, cutting swaths of radiation through Earth's orbital lanes. Our system's comms and navigation are crippled. Silas staggered under the news, dread filling his stomach like liquid lead. A solar storm of such magnitude could inundate populated planets and warp the fabric of space-time itself. For centuries, mankind had built its interstellar infrastructure on technology borrowed from its new allies. If the heart of human space lay paralyzed, Earth could lose all standing at the symposium. How could the Council trust humanity to shepherd them to the stars when Sol now found itself blinded? Around the chamber, the commotion began to die down as delegates noticed Silas's distress. Echoes floated over, tendrils twitching in consternation. "What troubles you, my young friend?" he telepathically inquired. Silas quickly explained the flare event, its likely damages, and the limited window for effective repairs. The ripples of shock spread rapidly around the room as Silas's message was relayed through drones and telepaths. He had their attention. Now he needed their aid. "Esteemed Council members," Silas addressed the hall, "Sol system has been rendered helpless. But we must not lose hope. Humanity recognizes its responsibility to lead repair efforts within its own space. But we cannot do this alone. We need your cooperation, resources, and expertise. The peoples of Earth plead for your assistance in restoring our infrastructure." Silas braced himself for the reaction, but was met only with silent contemplation. The council did not scoff in contempt or dismiss the plea out of hand, which he took as a promising sign. After a long moment, Tazgx, the chief engineer of Alpha Centauri's avian race, gestured assent. "The beacon of Sol must not go dark," he warbled through his translator. "Our knowledge and materials are yours to command, Ambassador." One by one, other delegates signaled their agreement and commitment to contribute however they could. The Arcturians promised the strength of their meditative disciplines against the travails ahead. Echoes pledged Sirius's finest techno-artisans to the cause. Silas allowed himself an exhale of release. Whatever their misgivings, the council species knew that an injury to one was an injury to all. United, they could repel any darkness. In the months that followed, mankind worked alongside its new allies to navigate the unpredictable solar storms and guide repair efforts across soul space. It was the first time the diverse species had collaborated on a project of such scale. Each world contributed their unique skills and resources to the shared goal. Human determination, curiosity, and adaptability complemented the advanced technologies of Centauri and Sirius. Arcturian monks worked tirelessly to shield crews mentally and spiritually against the harsh radiation blasts. Entire colonies were evacuated from afflicted systems, arriving at distant ports of call in ragtag armadas. Every species banded together to provide relief and shelter, setting old enmities and suspicions aside. For light years in every direction, the peoples of 24 worlds became unified in purpose for the first time in galactic history. And leading them all, both in spirit and deeds, were the intrepid explorers of Earth. The hazardous work took a toll over the long months. Ships were lost, relay stations obliterated. But under humanity's guidance, the infrastructure was slowly reconstructed. Step by step, communications came back online, jump gates were realigned, resources redistributed. Sol's beacon, so vital for navigation, burned bright once more. Silas traveled widely during this period, visiting the disparate crews. He offered encouragement, rallied morale, and forged bonds of fellowship between species. His charismatic leadership became the stuff of legend. On the front lines of repair efforts, humanity came to be seen in a new light by its allies. Gone was the naive newcomer, grappling recklessly with forces beyond its ken. In mankind's place now stood a steadfast comrade, forged strong as starship steel. The council races that once eyed humans warily now welcomed them as brothers and sisters. Human courage and sacrifice had built bonds of fellowship that would last millennia. 1 year later, the hazardous work was finally complete. The tiers in the space-time continuum were sealed. Orbital beacons guided traffic through every system. On the forest ringworlds of Arcturus, throngs gathered in jubilant celebration. Human diplomats were received to raucous applause on Alpha Centauri and Sirius. Throughout civilized space, humanity had carved a new destiny. At long last, Silas stood once more in the great council rotunda, humbled by the trust and acclaim surrounding him. Gone were the suspicious glares, the lurking contempt. In their place, Silas saw only unity and the dawn of a hopeful purpose. Echoes and Tice flanked him, fellow pioneers on the path ahead. Silas raised his hands in thankful salute. My friends, my brothers and sisters, we stand today on the threshold of a new era. For too long, we allowed fear and mistrust to isolate us. But in crisis, we have found fellowship. In sacrifice, we have forged bonds unbreakable. We have glimpsed our shared destiny, shining bright as any star. He gestured toward the vista of space beyond. Humanity once thought itself alone when it gazed at those stars. Now we know otherwise. The light that guided our ancestors still summons us to distant horizons. But from now on, we walk that path together. Nods and murmurs of assent echoed around the dome. Silas continued, cooperation will be difficult. There will be setbacks and disagreements. But if we hold true to the spirit of unity, no obstacle will ever stand before us. The entire universe lies open, waiting for our footsteps. Silas raised a hand skyward, voice ringing with resolve. Let our shared voyage begin, across oceans of stars, through the long night until we reached the dawn. A thunderous ovation erupted as the chamber rose to applaud their newfound kinship. Echoes, Tagics, and others crowded around Silas, tentacles and wings draped in affection. In their faces, Silas saw the reflection of humanity's hard-won maturity. The road ahead would be long, but mankind would no longer walk it alone. The stars called as they always have, promising challenges and revelations beyond imagination. But now their light held no menace, only the hope of futures yet unwritten. With bravery, compassion, and indomitable spirit as their guides, the peoples of the galaxy would venture forth together, and step by step they would turn the darkness to dawn.